All right. So this is my first time ever doing something like this. Excuse me. I'm probably going to be a little bit all over the place. I got some notes here on my monitor, so if I'm pretty lightly lit up, that's why. I'm sorry. Um, but I basically want to argue why there's a lot of people out there who say streamers are the reason that games are ruined, or streamers have ruined gaming, and content creators. And I would have to strongly disagree. And here's why. So, um, I feel like when it comes to streamers and content creators, right? I think in the long run, they help push the games out. They help make games popular. Think of the friend slop genre recently. You would never have heard of these games without really seeing them first. And what's the best way to see and market those games? Streamers and creators that'll play them for free. Or actually, will pay to play them. Excuse me. A lot of games grow because of creators. It's not traditional marketing, and it's more genuine. You get to see your favorite people play a game that you might be interested in playing, and maybe you give it a try with some of your buddies, and you have the time of your life for that weekend, and then you wait for the next one. They help a lot of people discover new games. That's kind of like some points I would like to make. And I feel like creators and streamers and big names when it comes to content around gaming create create communities for it. They create a culture, and I feel like that culture is what's important. I feel like people yearn. I don't feel like people do. People yearn for a community. No one likes being alone too much, and these streamer communities and content creator communities have so many people come together and play and experience things together as a community, and I think it's beautiful. And these are things that you don't get if it was just never here. How would you get that community? And I'm going to talk about this again in a little bit, because there's some things that it did feel like we had some community when it came to gaming in years past. I would say. Um, I will say, content creators, in favor of the content creators ruining games argument, they do publish and publicize the metas of gaming. They're gonna show what is the best, what works the most, all those kind of things, because it's gonna get the most views, of course, because the players want to be the best. They want to be able to compete better than other people. They want to be able to do whatever they're doing at the number one capacity above other people. That's just how people are. A lot of people are going to want to be like that. There's going to be a lot who don't care, but there's going to be a lot who are going to be looking for the best actively, especially when it comes to competitive games and games where you might be fighting for a slot somewhere if you're not doing enough DPS, or if you're not doing enough damage, if you're not doing enough healing, if you're not doing enough of these things. These metas are going to come forward a lot faster with content creators, and it can be harmful to a lot of games. But I would argue that people are going to find those metas and share them regardless. And not only that, you will see them. And like people, yeah, like I was written down. Naturally, people are going to look for their best strategies with or without creators. It's natural. It's human nature. You could call it greed. You could call it pride. You want to be better than those around you. You want to keep getting better. And that's normal. That's normal, and it's natural. But when it comes to metas, like, if you don't know what a meta is in a gaming, in a sense, it is finding the best strategies, the best ways to win, best characters, best play styles. And players are always, always, always going to optimize their chances to win. That's what they do. That's what we do. That's what I do. That's what you do. That's what we do all the time. It's normal. And content creators are always going to speed that up. And it can be very frustrating, especially to people who like to be more unique in games or try other playstyles. But here's kind of where my main argument comes in. I would say competitive gaming has taken an overall somewhat negative effect on gaming culture all around. And I think there's a lot to be said here. So I'm going to try to break it down the best I can. Please forgive me. I'm not the greatest at this. I've never done this before. But anyways, Every game you play today has a ranked mode. It has a competitive mode. It has some kind of MMR tracker. It has ELO. It's some way to track you and tell you how good you are at the game, how good you're doing, how much better you are than someone else. And people are going to strive for that 10 out of 10 times because it feels good. It feels good to be better than somebody. It feels good to be rewarded for a rank, to get a rank reward. It feels good. I got a champ charm in Siege. I got an emerald charm. I got a plat charm. It feels good. You earned it. It feels like you earned something. And even though it's only seasonal and then it goes away, but you have that little marker that said you got it a year ago. But what does it really mean? Everything's got leaderboards. Even the oldest games you could play have leaderboards. Pac-Man has a leaderboard because people like to try to be better than others. They want to be the best. Everyone wants to be the best in their lobby, the best at what they're doing. And you get different things, your skill rankings, your MMR, your different divisions, Games now are designed around winning and top performers. Not really for fun anymore. Everyone is actually being pushed to be the best because it keeps you involved and interested in the game. It also, in my opinion, it creates a very, very unhealthy competitive mindset to whatever you're playing or whatever you're doing. Here, I got some, I want to talk about kind of the effects of these competitive systems. Players are pressured and they feel pressured to perform their best no matter what. You almost don't have a choice. You have to play your very best. You have to constantly be improving as the metas change frequently. Compete at a high intensity. You literally cannot stop competing at your very top shape, otherwise you lose. Success is required, which to succeed, to be good at a game, to be good at something, it requires you to put more time into that, whatever that is. And it leads to, it gives these, to be the best, you have to be obsessed. To be the number one, to be the top of the leaderboard, to be a champ, to be a diamond, to be a grand champ, a grand master, it takes being obsessed. And obsession can oftentimes be very unhealthy. And another thing that I think really, really happens in these competitive spaces, a lot of stress and frustration. Losing's not fun. Having fun while losing's one thing, but after a while, especially the more time you've put into something, the more of your heart, more of your soul that you're pouring into a game, the more hours you're putting in to be the best, those losses hurt so much more, and that stress hits almost every game. And it gives you frustration. You get upset with your teammates, with how you performed, with the other team, with the lag, with the weapons they're using, with the characters you're playing. You get upset. You get anger. It leads to anger. You might break things. You might yell. You might say nothing, but it doesn't feel good. It's not fun. The wins are fun, but you can't win every time. And whenever you do lose, it hurts 10 times more, to the point where you just want to re-queue, the rage queue. The rage queue, it's so toxic for yourself and for your friends. Y'all get mad because you lost. The can't end on a loss, which sounds fun at first until you get in and you get more frustrated. And it's just one of those things. And it's just a never-ending cycle of dopamine hitting, of whenever you win and you feel good and you get a nice kill, a nice quick peek, something, you get your ability off, whatever the case may be. You get your ult off, and then you go to the next game and it's miserable and you lose and you get upset or frustrated or unhappy, and then you queue again because you want to feel good again. And then it happens again. And then you're down rank even more. So you get really upset. And then you want to get off, but you have to reclaim what you lost. And you just keep going back and forth. And it becomes draining. This toxic relationship you build with the game. It becomes very draining. Exhausting even. It almost feels like a second job, how much time you put into this, how much of your heart. Because at the end of the day, your losses, your defeats, it feels personal because of how much you've invested into your craft. And I would like to kind of bring up another point, skill based matchmaking. Now, I will say, for the players that aren't the greatest or players that are just starting out, skill based matchmaking can help them in many ways. And it can even be fun sometimes. But I would argue that skill based matchmaking ruins the feel of casual gameplay and decentivizes it, which might be the goal of the games. I might talk about that in the future. I think the goal of every game is to keep you on that game more than other games as much as possible. They want to keep you in that game. And if that means making casual feel empty and making ranked feel rewarding and addictive, then they'll do so. Because they want to keep you in that game. They want to keep you in that toxic cycle of winning and losing and winning and losing and feeling good and feeling miserable and feeling good. You come off of work, you want to play some games, and then you feel miserable because you lost. Because you're losing to someone who could put more hours than you. So then you want to put more hours in. And you try, and it just never ends. And my problem with skill-based matchmaking is every game ends up feeling equally difficult for the most part. Now, everyone's got their stories of they're playing Call of Duty or they're playing 2K. 2K has a plate system. I hate the plate system. I could talk an hour about the plate system. COD skill-based matchmaking. You could have two really good games. Then the next game, you're going to be matched up against some elite level sweat who has 10,000 hours in the game. Then the game came out 2 months ago. And you only have 30 hours. But then you get demolished then and go back down again. And it turns casual play into somewhat of a ranked play. You have an elo. You have an elo in your casual. And it gets frustrating because now you have to repeat that competitive cycle in non-competitive spaces. We aren't given enough non-competitive spaces when it comes to gaming. There is no more casual play. I'm not saying that it's okay to want to lose. I mean, it is. But like, people should be able to relax when they play. They should be able to have some chill games if they want to. If someone has a very high skill-based matchmaking elo, and they played For Honor for years, right? I played For Honor for 4 years, and I haven't played since. I was pretty solid. I was pretty solid at For Honor way back. But before 2020, and I had over a 2.0 KD in most game modes, sometimes more than that. And now when I play, I'm playing against other people around that same SBMM, the same skill level. And now I'm going to be punished all the time because I'm not good anymore. I don't even know the new characters. And it gets really demotivating to want to play any type of For Honor or games like that where I haven't played in a long time and now I'm going to face the repercussions of somebody at my old skill level that I'm no longer at. But this is the same case if you're playing any game that has a skill-based matchmaking. 2K has a plate system. If you win a few games, you go up in plates. Your competition will be higher no matter what. And sir, that's cool, but they've added a ranked game mode into 2K. So why is casual play now a ranked game mode as well? It shouldn't be. In my opinion, it shouldn't be because it keeps that never-ending toxic cycle. You want to play on 2K, but now you're a Hall of Fame plate, or you're a Legend plate, you're a red plate, you're a purple plate. So all the people you play against are going to be very good, and you have to perform very well. It's hard to do new things. It's hard to try non-meta play styles because you have to get used to new things against people that are very skilled. Because there's no casual left. Which it's like I said, it helps some of the not as skilled players, but it hurts the ones who want to come back to a game and maybe can only play casually. But even then, a lot of like I said, if you have a few good games, you're gonna go back and forth like that. That's kind of I kind of say like good performance equals getting put in better lobbies in casual. I understand it in ranked. That's what ranked game modes are for. But in casual, I don't think it's quite as necessary. And it's like if you think about older games, here's kind of another point I'd like to make. If you think about older games, right? A lot of older games didn't really have this same skill-based matchmaking. A lot of people actually don't like skill-based matchmaking. Because it reinforces that competitive gameplay loop that is so toxic and harmful, I would say, to gaming communities. Because now it's not only that it's hurtful to the player, but it's hurtful from a community standpoint because a lot of people are toxic. It encourages toxicity, in my opinion. But for example, older games like Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 2, you might get into a lobby with. You could get into a lobby with a really good pro player, and you could have just got the game that day. You could have gotten to with a really good YouTuber, and it gave you these opportunity for really cool interactions with people of all skill levels. You might have two guys that are very good on both teams, and then you have other people that kind of trickle around. And or you might have no one who's good on the other team, and you might dominate. It made this unique dynamic of you never knew what you were gonna get next, and that was fun. You might go into Halo Reach, and you hop into a lobby, and you have max levels on the other team, and you could be a private or a corporal, and then you guys might make friends and start a custom game afterward. It wasn't it was competitive, yes, but it was also arcadey. It was fun. And I feel like we're missing that now. And that's why I feel like a lot of us, we open up our gaming library and it feels like there's nothing there. It feels like there's nothing to watch. I mean, nothing to play and nothing fun. You open it and then you sit there and then you close it, or then you go watch YouTube because this competitive gameplay makes you put so much effort into what you're doing. You have to want to put your effort in. And sometimes that effort isn't rewarded, and it makes it not fun and more frustrating. And on top of that, the video games used to be an escape, is what people called them. Oh, it's my escape. Why do you play video games? It's my escape. But is it an escape anymore if it's stressing you out and making you feel so miserable? Or are you addicted to the chase of trying to get that new rank, that new tier, that new division? Because I think for a lot of us, it's the latter. Anyways, another part of it is monetization and overall design shift of video games has completely changed how we move, how we operate as gamers. Games used to be you buy the game, there you go. You might have some DLCs you could buy optionally, right? And now it's a little different. There's no DLCs anymore for real. Everything you get from the game is what you get then on. Games become live service, and you get a battle pass every month in 10 days, or every 3 months, depending on the game. And that's I feel like it's run its course. I'm not looking at battle passes like, oh, what's in the battle pass? What's going to be in this next battle pass like I was in 2017? I'm looking at a battle pass like, great. Another battle pass. Another way to keep me engaged and focused on this game over and over again that I will again lose in about a month and 10 days to 3 months. And the point is for retention, right? And performance tracking and changing metas up, which I think changing the metas is phenomenal and great. I don't hate battle passes, but it's getting to a point where I'm kind of tired of them. I'm tired of battle passes all around and microtransactions. But I think we all are. Anyways, my final position on this is I would disagree that streamers have ruined video games, and I would put the shift onto competitive gaming. Modern games have forced competition instead of casual play and fun. The focus is on winning over losing. Losing hurts 10 times more. Winning feels good. Good. And then you want it again. And this shift has made gaming much more stressful and less enjoyable overall. Thank you for tapping in. If you like what you see, drop a like, maybe a follow or subscribe. If you disagree, let me know why. I would love to know. Thank you.